Hey, what's going on? Luke here. Obviously, I'm a Bulldog supporter, so I'm here to talk about the fact that the Bulldogs are going to be winning the 2023 NRL Premiership just based off the first trial of the pre-season challenge. Yes, that is a thing. Yes, they're doing some sort of weird table. No, nobody cares. Now, in all seriousness, obviously the Bulldogs probably not going to win the Premiership, at least not going to base it off a trial where like a lot of reserve graders played, but what I saw from the Bulldogs was very, very promising. Exactly what we've wanted to see for probably the last, 5-6 years. Even let's go the last time we saw Bulldogs attacking very, very good, probably about 2012. So let's go back, nearly 10 years ago. So it's been quite some time since we've seen the Bulldogs be quite slick in attack. Last year we saw some little glimpses when Mick Potter took over, but in this preseason trial, we saw a lot of positives. And look, Josh Reynolds played. That's obviously a big talking point. Seeing the Prince of Belmore return, you love to see it. You just absolutely love to see it. Whether you're a Bulldogs fan or not, you love to see Grub back in the blue and white, especially wearing that number 6. But look, it was a very, very impressive performance. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt because it is just a preseason challenge. A challenge, yes. Once again, nobody cares about it. I didn't even realize this was actually a thing. I thought that was coming in like next year. I will touch on some of the other games real quick. So the Warriors beat the Tigers 48-12. Sharks beat the Knights 28-16. We had 30-28 for Manly up against the Rabbitohs. 22-16 Panthers beat the Eels. Then had St. Helens. So Saints up against Saints. We had St. Helens beating the Dragons 30-18. Roosters 32, Storm 24. And then obviously my Doggies won. And also the Dolphins and the Cowboys had a draw, as did the Titans and the Broncos. So, look, I did watch a lot of those games. It was great to have the footy back, and that is something that I sat here and talked about, the fact that just the football's back, the NRL's back, something to talk about. A lot of the time, I've struggled to make videos here because I was like, there's not really been any dramas. I've already covered a lot of the big signings last year when it happened because they signed so far in advance, so it's not like you had all these different signings to talk about. There just wasn't really too much going on up until the All-Stars match, which also happened, which saw the Indigenous side win. But I definitely needed to do a video talking about the Bulldogs. Positives, I thought Kyle Flanagan looked quite decent, and I feel like having Reid Mahoney there was absolutely outstanding. Like, it just showed you everything that me and a lot of other Bulldog supporters have said for a long time. And I know Jeremy Marshall-King was actually quite decent last year. He's probably going to be quite decent for the Dolphins. But we have lacked a good hooker since Michael Ennis, and he left in 2014. Even then, last couple of years for Ennis, he was definitely very pigeonholed into just sort of tackling and just throwing passes. Couldn't really do much. Kicking game was gone. Obviously went to the Sharks, regained his origin spot, won a premiership. Great career for Michael Ennis, but it just shows you how long it's been since the Bulldogs have had a quality hooker, quality number 9. We've had guys like Michael Leaches who've been highly talked about, and even down to with Ennis and Leacher, they were supposed to do the swap, and we'd secured the big superstar on a decent contract, and then he ended up being one of the biggest flops in the history of the Bulldogs, essentially. Left the NRL, and now he doesn't play the NRL, obviously, or the off-field stuff, but having Reid Mahoney there, just the service from dummy half, it was so crisp, and I feel like maybe the Eels fans are going to sort of witness it. I mean, I saw Hodgson play for the Eels, and he didn't exactly, set the world on fire, obviously coming back from an injury, but big talking point is, Reid Mahoney's shoulder's gone, Josh Hodgson's just going to slot in. I don't know. Reid Mahoney's going to be a huge loss, a huge game for the Bulldogs. Literally in that game itself, it showed why he is important to the Bulldogs. Is he going to be the best hooker in the game? Probably not. Definitely not. But he is going to be perfect for the Bulldogs, in my opinion. Just getting the ball so crisp out to Burton. Like, if he can make it work with Josh Reynolds, and no offense to Josh Reynolds, but if he can make it work with Josh Reynolds and Kyle Flanagan, imagine what he can do with Burton there, and even the new young fella. I've just blanked on his name. Carl. I've just blanked on his last name. But imagine what he can do with some actual proper guns. But yeah, Kyle Flanagan looked decent. All your usual standards looked decent. Basically, all of the new guys looked really, really good. Sutton looked good. Preston looked really, really good. He's another young fella coming through the ranks. Apparently came from the Roosters, I believe. Super young. Might be a chance for a starting second row. I don't know. Opportunity there now that Josh Jackson is gone. But, for Talon Marin is still there. You still got TPJ to come in. Kickout obviously going to be there. Look, we've got a lot of options, and that's finally... it's so nice to sit here as a Bulldogs fan and say, hey, look at our reserve guys. They actually played quite decent. Even like Ockenball. Ockenball didn't even look dreadful. He actually looked like half decent. He looked like a somewhat of a first grade player. yeah, he looked decent. But yeah, the real talking point is Reid Mahoney. And even like Braden Burns played fullback and we still looked very good. Avarillo in the centres. Alamonte, Alamonte. All right, he's going to be good. He's going to be very, very good. Essentially just a very, very solid performance. I started off the video saying Bulldogs going to win a premiership. While that is true, no, I'm joking. So I wouldn't go that far and say like, oh, they're going to be a contender. But in terms of any sort of doubts I had over like, is this going to be the year we're going to maybe push for the top 8? I feel like I can sit here and I can say, yes, I think we are. I think Reid Mahoney, as long as he stays fit, as long as our big guns stay fit, I think we should be fine in terms of at least pushing for it. Because last year, like with Adokar and all that sort of stuff coming in, there was a lot of hype over the Bulldogs, let's be honest. And they definitely didn't deliver, start off. Obviously, Barrett got the sack. But when I was watching the preseason games, I remember us beating the Knights, who ended up being one of the worst teams in the comp. And I remember doing like a live stream watching it, and we won by basically like an intercept and like a drop ball or something, and then we just defended. Like it was very, very scrappy. We got a win there, and then I think we got beat by the Sharks, who we play this week actually, this next coming week in a trial. I'm pretty sure we lost to them like pretty easy. So look, contrast from last year to this year is that like this year we won very dominant. Like we absolutely dominated Canberra. Like there was no doubt about it that we were going to beat Canberra. Absolutely battered them. Obviously, Canberra didn't have a full-strength side by any means, missing a lot of players. I mean, White wasn't there, Papali'i wasn't there, Topany's that wasn't there, or Tapany? I keep saying Topany because of the Bulldogs Topany, but Joseph Tapany wasn't there. Obviously, they're sort of dealing with Charms leaving as well. Savage got a broken jaw from Josh Reynolds, I think, in like very early on. So, look, there were some, it's not like we come out and absolutely smash the first grade standard side, but just in terms of being a Bulldog supporter, very exciting times. And this trial game definitely didn't put a stop to the exciting times, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because in previous seasons, we've got to the trials and we've looked at them and went, no, not really it, is it? But yeah, this time, absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to wrap things up here because I'm sort of rambling a little bit now. In some of the other games, like, there were some pretty decent games. Like, I kind of watched the highlights of the 2 Queensland ones. The Roosters Storm I didn't see. I did see the World Club, not the World Club Challenge, but I saw St. Helens up against Dragons. You just tell the difference in intensity and quality right from the get-go. And even then the scoreline, I don't know if it flatters the Dragons because like second half they kind of bring on all their reserves. Panthers Juniors looked really, really good up against the Eel side, who had quite a few players playing first grade, and they sort of put a bit of a score on them. I think it came back in the end, but looked pretty good. Seagulls, Rabbitohs didn't see. Sharks, Knights, I did see. Sharks look really good. And Warriors obviously smashed the Tigers. So typical Tigers. Usually Tigers are pretty good in the preseason, but not this year. But guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks for watching. If you did happen to enjoy this one, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure you use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub boxes, please. Do not rely on the sub boxes. Use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos. Also, follow me on social media. It's on the screen right now. Do tend to post some links to videos and that sort of stuff, especially on Instagram. That's probably where I'm the most active, but you're seeing it on the screen right now. Mr. Luke and YT it is, except for Facebook, which is just Mr. Luke. Everything else, Mr. Luke and YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad. That includes TikTok and Snapchat as well. So give me an ad, give me a follow, do all that sort of stuff. And guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more on the channel, and see you in the next one. See yous.